The man on his knees did not look like a proud husband. He looked like a beggar who had lost his last chance. People slowed their steps to stare. Malik Cole was on the ground, both knees pressed into the wet floor. His shirt was wrinkled. His hands reached for the hem of a cream-colored pantsuit. His voice cracked as he cried in front of everyone. "Dani, please," he begged. "I lost everything. I was wrong. I was blind. Let's start over. I'll be a good husband. I'll do anything you want. Just don't leave me like this." The woman in front of him did not bend down. She did not touch his shoulder. Danielle Dani Lawson stood beside a wheelchair. Her mother, Mama Ruth Lawson, sat in that chair with a light blanket over her knees. Mama Ruth's face was thinner than before, but her eyes were clear. She watched her former son-in-law with a calm, tired look. The lobby grew quiet. The automatic doors opened and closed in the distance. Malik grabbed for the hem of Dani's pants again. "Please, Dani," he sobbed. "Give me one more chance. I will change. I swear. I will take care of you and Mama. I will wash your feet every day. Just take me back home." Once, a scene like this would have broken Dani's heart. Once, she might have helped him stand up, wiped his tears, told him they could fix it together. But that Dani had died in a hospital hallway when no one came to stand beside her. Now her face was calm. Her brown eyes were steady and dry. She looked down at Malik the same way she might look at a stranger blocking her path to the elevator. She drew in a slow breath. When she spoke, her voice was soft, but it cut through the quiet lobby like a knife. "Excuse me," Dani said. "Who are you?" A few people gasped. Malik froze like someone had poured ice water over his head. For a second, he did not seem to understand the words. Then his eyes went wide with shock. "Dani, it's me," he whispered. "It's Malik. I'm your husband." Dani tilted her head a little, as if she was thinking. "No," she answered, still calm. "My husband was with me when my mother was fighting for her life in the ICU. My husband did not demand $15,000 for a wedding and a vacation while I sat alone outside the operating room. That man is gone. And you? I don't know you." She stepped back so his hands could not touch her. With one hand, she gripped the handles of Mama Ruth's wheelchair. "Let's go, Mama," she said softly. "Our ride is waiting." Mama Ruth gave Malik one last long look. Then she nodded and folded her hands in her lap. Dani pushed the wheelchair past Malik. The automatic doors slid open, and sunlight spilled onto the floor. Dani did not look back. If you are listening to this and your heart is already beating a little faster, pause with me before the story truly begins. Go to the comments and tell me where you are listening from. Which city, which state, which corner of the world is sharing this lobby with Dani right now? And if you enjoy real-life stories where a quiet woman finds a steel spine and walks away from people who use her, please hit the like button and subscribe so this channel can keep growing and bringing you more stories. It did not begin with a man crying on a hospital floor. It began days earlier, in another part of this same building, when time felt frozen and the loudest sound was the slow ticking of a wall clock. 10 days before that scene in the lobby, Dani sat alone on a metal chair outside a set of frosted glass doors marked ICU. The hallway lights were bright and cold. The smell of antiseptic mixed with old coffee from the vending machine. Dani's gray head wrap was wrinkled. Her eyes were puffy and dry at the same time. It had been almost 12 hours since her mother, Mama Ruth, had been rushed into the intensive care unit after a sudden heart attack in their small brick house on the south side of Atlanta. She could still see it when she closed her eyes. Her mother on the kitchen floor, hand pressed to her chest, lips pale, breath short and sharp. Her own voice screaming for help while her fingers shook so hard she almost dropped her phone dialing 911. The ride in the back of the ambulance. The doors slamming shut. The flashing lights bouncing across dark windows as they sped through traffic. At the hospital, Dani had signed form after form with her own name. Emergency contact. Insurance. Consent for procedures. She had listened to the doctor explain that Mama Ruth's condition was critical, that the next few days would be very important. She had nodded, even though the words seemed to float above her head instead of sinking in. Now she sat outside those doors, her hands wrapped around a paper cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. The cup shook a little between her fingers, not because of the air conditioning, but because she was tired all the way down to her bones. She was not a weak woman. At work, as a chief financial officer, People trusted her with large budgets. She could face angry partners with a clear, firm voice. She owned a house in a quiet neighborhood. She paid the notes on a luxury SUV. She sent money every month to her husband's mother to help with expenses. She had always believed that if she worked harder, stayed patient, and kept giving, everyone would be okay. Tonight, sitting in that hallway with the clock barely moving, Dani realized something that hurt worse than the ache in her back and the sting in her eyes. For the first time in her adult life, with all her titles and all her accounts and all her responsibilities, she felt painfully alone, and the people who should have been standing beside her were nowhere to be found. Dani sat in the hard plastic chair and watched the ICU doors. Any second, she told herself, a doctor would walk out and say, "She's stable now." No one came. Her phone lay face down in her lap. She stared at it until the dark screen felt heavy. "I'm not alone," she whispered. "I have a husband." That thought gave her courage. She unlocked the phone and tapped Malik's name. His contact picture showed him in a suit, smiling wide at some office party. The kind of man who looked like he could handle anything. Dani pressed call. The phone rang 4 times before he answered. "Yeah, what's up, Dani?" Malik said. Music and voices filled the background. "Make it quick, I'm busy." "Malik." "It's Mom," she said. "She had a heart attack. We're at the hospital." They rushed her into the ICU. "The doctor says it's critical." He sighed like she had told him the dryer broke. Okay, he muttered. "And you're there, right? You're with her?" "Yes," Dani said. "I've been here all day. I need you here with me, please." "I'm scared." A door closed on his end. When he spoke again, his voice was sharper. "Dani, listen," he said. "I'm at the venue with Sierra and Mom. We're checking the reception hall and decorations. The wedding is in a few weeks. People are on my neck. I can't just walk out because your mom got sick." "Got sick?" Dani repeated. "Malik. She almost died on the kitchen floor. They shocked her heart. She has tubes everywhere. I don't know if she's going to make it through the night." "She'll be fine," Malik said quickly. "That hospital is top-notch. Stop thinking the worst. You always jump straight to the darkest thing." "I'm not thinking the worst," Dani whispered. "I'm telling you what the doctor said." "Yeah. Well, you can handle it," Malik answered. "You're good at handling stuff. You always do." "Look, I really can't leave right now. Sierra is freaking out about the florist and Mom is chewing out the planner. If I walk out, it'll be a mess. Let me finish here and I'll call you later." "I need you now," Dani said. It came out soft. There was a tiny pause. For half a second she thought he might say, "I'm coming." Instead he said, "Dani, don't be dramatic. Your mom will recover. You're making this bigger than it is. Just pray and calm down. I gotta go." The line went dead. Dani lowered the phone and stared at the screen. Call ended. 1 minute, 30-something seconds. Something in her chest bent. Maybe he's just stressed, she told herself. She waited. 10 minutes. 20. She tried again. This time the phone rang until it bounced to voicemail. She didn't leave a message. Her thumbs began to move on their own. "Malik, please," she typed. "They said the next 2 days are very important. I am here alone. I need you. Please come to the hospital." She hit send. Delivered appeared. A few seconds later, Reed showed up under her message. Then the chat stayed still. The little flame inside her chest dropped to a tiny coal. After a while, the air felt too thick. Dani thought of someone else. Maybe a mother's heart would understand. She scrolled to Regina Cole, Mom Malik, and pressed call. Regina picked up on the second ring. "Dani, what now?" she snapped. Music and clinking glasses echoed behind her. "We're in the middle of fixing this wedding planner's mess." She jacked up the seating chart again. "Miss Regina," Dani said, keeping her voice calm. "It's about my mom. Mama Ruth had a heart attack. She's in the ICU. The doctor says it's critical. I've been here since this afternoon. I tried calling Malik. I was hoping maybe you could tell him to come, or maybe you could come with him. I just don't want to be alone here." Regina blew out a loud breath. "Dani, you are being very dramatic," she said. "People have heart problems all the time. They go to the hospital, they stay a few days, they go home. You act like she's already in the grave. That's not healthy." Donna's fingers dug into the chair. "I'm not acting," Dani said quietly. "I'm telling you what the doctor said. They said it could go either way. I thought, since you're a mother, you might understand. I would do the same for you." "We are stressed out here," Regina cut in. "We're dealing with vendors, contracts, timelines, and you call with this? Malik is helping Sierra. His sister is getting married. Do you know how important that is for our family? As a daughter-in-law, you should be supporting, not pulling him away." "I am not trying to pull him away," Dani said. "I just need him for a little while." "Handle your mother yourself," Regina said. "You have always handled things. Don't be so spoiled. I have to go." The call ended with a hard click. Spoiled. The word rang in Dani's ears. She sat with the phone still pressed against her face for a few seconds, then slowly lowered it. Spoiled. Her? She saw the house on Royal Oak Drive in her mind, the one she had bought with her own inheritance. She saw the luxury SUV Malik drove and the smaller car Regina liked to show off at church, both in her name. She saw the automatic transfers she had set up, sending $2,000 every month to Regina for expenses, on top of the checks she wrote for Sierra's wedding. If that was spoiled, it wasn't the woman sitting alone outside the ICU, but habit was strong. Her anger turned in a slow circle and landed on herself. "Maybe I am asking too much," she thought. "Maybe I shouldn't bother them. The wedding is soon. Maybe good wives don't complain. Maybe good daughters-in-law don't beg." Her hand dropped to her lap. She leaned her head against the cold wall. Her eyes burned, but no tears fell. A nurse walked by and gave her a small, kind smile. Dani tried to smile back. Time crawled. The clock above the ICU doors kept creeping forward. Her phone stayed dark. Then, all at once, it lit up. Hope jumped in her chest so fast it almost hurt. Maybe Malik had finally come to his senses. Maybe he was texting, "I'm on my way. I'm downstairs." She grabbed the phone and looked at the screen. It wasn't a call. It wasn't a message from Malik, or Regina, or Sierra, asking about Mama Ruth. It was a notification from her banking app. Automatic transfer completed, $2,000. Recipient, Regina Cole. Dani stared at the glowing numbers. The line of text sat there. Simple. And cold. Underneath, the date, the time, and the words. Scheduled monthly transfer. Successful. For a few seconds her mind refused to click the pieces together. Then a dry, ugly little laugh slipped out of her throat. Upstairs, machines were keeping her mother alive. Somewhere across Atlanta her husband and his family were tasting cake and arguing about flowers. And in the middle, like always, her money slid quietly into Regina's account. Her fingers tightened around the phone until her knuckles went white. That money could have paid for another test, she thought. A better room. A private nurse. Something, anything, for Mom. Instead, it would pay for centerpieces and dress fittings and maybe a spa day for a woman who had just told her, "Handle your mother yourself. Don't be spoiled." Something inside Dani shifted. It felt like a chair leg cracking under too much weight. All the years of working late. All the years of saying, "They'll see my heart if I give more." All the years of believing that if she was patient, humble, generous, she would finally be accepted as family. Here in this hallway, outside a room where her mother was fighting for her life, that belief snapped. Maybe I'm not spoiled, she thought slowly. Maybe I've just been used. The thought was small at first, like a whisper, but once it appeared, it didn't leave. It sat beside her on that hard chair while the clock kept ticking and the machines kept beeping, and not one member of the Cole family walked through those doors to stand next to her. There. The next 2 days felt slow and heavy. Dani stayed at the hospital almost the whole time. She slept in short naps on a hard chair, woke up whenever a monitor beeped, and watched nurses move in and out of the ICU room. The doctor kept saying the same words, stable, but still critical. She went home only to shower and change clothes, then hurried back. Malik did not come. Regina did not come. Sierra did not come. Only her phone showed interest in her, buzzing with messages that talked about flowers and deposits, while her mother lay upstairs fighting for her life. By the third morning, Dani's head hurt. After a nurse checked Mama Ruth's lines and told her there was no change, Dani kissed her mother's forehead and headed down to the cafeteria. The room smelled like coffee. Outside the big window, gray clouds hung over the small hospital garden. Dani bought a bagel and a cup of tea, then sat by the glass. She put her phone on the table face down and let herself enjoy a moment of quiet. Then one thought cut through the silence. What if the doctor tried to call? Dani sighed, turned the phone over, and unlocked it. Her message app was full. The family group chat was crowded with words about centerpieces, dress fittings, and keeping up appearances. Sierra had sent photos of shoes and makeup ideas. Malik had written short lines asking why Dani was acting distant and ignoring everyone. Not one person had typed the words, "How is your mom?" She scrolled past everything and put the phone down again. She bit into her bagel. It was dry. She washed it down with hot tea that burned her tongue. The phone buzzed once on the table. Dani picked it up and checked. A small part of her still hoped for a different kind of message. The new text was from Malik. The preview line showed only the first few words, but the bubble was long. She opened it. "Dani, where are you?" It started. "Why are you ignoring me, my mom and Sierra? That's disrespectful. You're making a small problem big." Dani kept reading. "Mom says you're still upset about the other day." "Whatever. We have an emergency. The reception hall canceled. We found a better place, but we have to pay fast. Mom needs you to transfer $15,000 to her account today." Her eyes stopped there. $15,000. She read the rest anyway. The 15 covers the new deposit and gives Mom something for a vacation after the wedding. She deserves to relax. The stress is bad for her health. Don't be stingy. This is for our future. If Sierra's wedding falls apart, our family name will be ruined. Send the $15,000 tonight. I'm waiting. Dani read the text a second time, slower. Every line lifted Regina's stress. Not one line mentioned that Mama Ruth was in the ICU. Not one line asked where Dani was sleeping or if she had eaten. The only emergency that counted was a party and a trip. Dani stared at the screen until the letters blurred. Then a small, strange sound came out of her throat. She realized she was laughing. It was not a happy laugh. It was dry and rough, like something cracking. A woman at the next table turned to stare. Dani pressed her hand over her mouth, but another short laugh shook her shoulders. "They really think I will do it," she thought. "They really believe I will sit here, sick with worry, and still run around saving their big day." For years she had done exactly that. When Regina demanded more money, Dani found a way. When Sierra hinted about special touches, Dani paid. When Malik said, "Baby, it will look bad if we don't," she moved numbers around. The laugh died away. Her hand dropped back to the table. Her face went still. A clear thought rose up inside her. "I am not their bank." Dani opened her banking app. The numbers showed on the screen. Her investment account held the real emergency fund. $15,000 sat there, money her father had helped her set aside. She had always promised herself that account was for true crises, sickness or loss, not for parties. She backed out of that account and opened her regular checking. The balance was lower now. Hospital costs had already taken a bite, but there was still enough. She tapped transfer. A list of saved accounts appeared. Malik's name sat in the middle. She selected it. In the amount box, she did not type 15000. She typed 50. $50. Enough to buy gas, snacks, or more minutes. Her thumb hovered over the send button. For one moment, the old habit whispered, "Just do what they ask. It will be easier." But a stronger voice answered, "If you do this again, they will never stop." She pressed send. "Transfer successful," the app said. A green checkmark appeared. Dani went back to Malik's message and hit reply. She typed one short line, "Here, this is for phone minutes. Don't call me again." She read it once and pressed send. 2 blue checks popped up almost right away. Malik was watching his phone. A second later, his name flashed on the screen with an incoming call. Dani watched the call ring. She could picture his shocked face, hear his angry words in her mind. She let the call ring until it stopped. Then Regina called. Then Sierra. Then the family chat lit up with new messages. Dani opened the settings on her phone and turned the volume all the way down. Then she turned off vibration. The phone lay still on the table. Their anger could stack up in silent bubbles. She did not have to let it into her ears. One text and $50 would not fix everything. If she stopped there, the same cycle would start again. They would cry and complain. They would say she was ungrateful and cold. They would talk about family and duty while still reaching for her wallet. She needed more than a strong answer. She needed a strong shield. She scrolled through her contacts until a name appeared that she had not called in years: Attorney Randall James. He had been her father's lawyer. When her father died, Mr. James sat across from her at a wide desk and explained why some accounts and the house on Royal Oak Drive would stay in her name alone. Back then, Dani nodded and signed but did not feel the weight of his words. She believed Malik's love would be enough. Now she knew better. She pressed call. The phone rang twice. James' law office. "This is Randall," a deep, steady voice said. "Good morning, Mr. James," Dani replied. Her own voice sounded tired but firm. "This is Danielle Lawson." He paused, then warmed. "Dani. It's been a long time. How are you, dear?" "My mother is in the ICU," she said. "She had a heart attack. I can't talk long. I need your help with my money." His tone shifted at once. "All right," he said. "Tell me what you need me to do." "I want every joint account in my name and Malik's name frozen," Dani said. "Checking, savings, anything we share. I don't want him to move a dollar. Those accounts are funded from your income and your inheritance, not his paychecks, correct?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "He has never put his own money into them." "That makes it simple," Mr. James replied. "As primary owner, you can order holds. I'll contact the banks as soon as we hang up." Dani felt some of the tightness in her chest ease. "And I want all automatic transfers stopped," she added. "Every standing order from my personal accounts to Malik, to his mother Regina, to his sister Sierra, however often they come, turn them all off." "I can do that," he said. "I'll send you a list so you can confirm we didn't miss anything." Dani nodded, though he could not see her. "One more thing," she said. "The house on Royal Oak Drive. It's still in my name only, right? It came from my father's estate before I married." There was a brief pause while he checked his records. "Yes," he said. "The title lists only you. It's separate property. Your husband has no legal share unless you add him. You never did." "Good," Dani replied. "After the accounts are frozen and the transfers are stopped, I want you to start the process to sell that house." "To sell?" he repeated. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure," she answered. "I've let people who don't value me live under that roof for too long. I would rather move somewhere smaller and peaceful than stay in a big house that feels like a reminder of my mistakes." "Understood," Mr. James said. "I'll contact a realtor I trust and prepare the documents. I'll also send you forms so I can act quickly while you care for your mother. You can sign everything electronically." "Thank you," Dani said. "My father trusted you. I'm glad you're still here." "Your father wanted you to have choices," he told her. "It sounds like you're using them. Take care of your mother. I'll take care of the paperwork." They said goodbye. Dani ended the call and set the phone down. Outside the cafeteria window, a bird hopped along the low brick wall and then flew away. Inside, people still waited in line for coffee. Nothing around her looked different, but inside Dani, something had shifted. For years, she had poured her strength and her money into people who did not show up when she needed them most. She had called that loyalty. She had told herself that was love. Now, with a cold bagel on the tray and a quiet phone by her hand, she had chosen something else. She had chosen herself and the woman upstairs who had always chosen her. Dani picked up her tea, took a slow sip, and let out a long breath. Somewhere above her, machines kept time with Mama Ruth's heart. Down here, Dana's own heart made a new promise. From this moment on, no one would live off her work and then call her spoiled for needing care. From this moment on, the woman who held the accounts would decide who stayed in her life and who would be cut off like a bad transfer. Dani walked back toward the ICU with her tea in her hand and her phone heavy in her pocket. At the elevator, she paused. Next to it was a small sign. Chapel. Quiet room. Without thinking too hard, she pushed the door open. The room was dim. One lamp burned near a wooden cross. A nurse slept on the back bench. Dani sat down on the second row. She set her cup on the floor and held her phone with both hands. "I froze our accounts," she thought. "I asked Mr. James to sell the house. There's no way back now. I kept peace by giving in. Girl is gone. Her heart beat fast, but it wasn't wild fear this time. It felt like standing at the edge of a bridge she finally had to cross. "God, you see my mama," she whispered. "You see what they did. Please, help me do this right, not out of hate, out of sense." She stayed like that until her shoulders loosened. Then she picked up her tea and went back upstairs. The ICU doors slid open with a soft hiss. In room 312, machines beeped, and air moved in slow puffs. Mama Ruth Lawson lay still, eyes closed, skin pale but warm. Dani took her hand and squeezed it. "Hey, Mama," she said. "Your girl is here. I'm not going anywhere." She dragged the small rolling table closer and pulled her laptop from her bag. It felt strange to open a work computer next to all the tubes, but she needed answers and proof. Her email inbox filled the screen. Lines of old subject titles scrolled past as she flicked her finger. Bills, work notes, church updates. Then one line made her stop. "Look at this, Dani girl," the subject said. It was from Mom. Dani clicked. The email was almost a year old. Back then, Mama Ruth had typed late at night from her little kitchen table. "Baby, read about this group," it said. "They help children with cancer whose families don't have much. If I ever have extra money, I would love to give them something." Below the words was a link. Dani swallowed and tapped it. A simple website opened. At the top, big letters read, Children's Hope Foundation. Pictures filled the page. Small boys and girls with bald heads and bright, brave smiles. In the middle was a big button that said, Donate, Give Hope Today. In her mind, she saw another picture, the number on her emergency account at the bank. $15,000. She looked from the screen to her mother's still face. "You never had extra," she thought. "Every time I tried to spoil you, I got pulled back into Malik's plans and Regina's needs, and still you were dreaming about helping somebody else." Her throat burned. "This is what an emergency looks like," Dani said inside her own head. "Not a canceled reception, not a vacation." Her first instinct was to close the page and wait. Hold the money. Keep it just in case. Her father had taught her to save. But then a different question came. What would make him proud now? Paying for more decorations in a hall where nobody asked about his wife, or helping children live long enough to grow up? Her answer rose up clear. It rose so strong that the doubt in her chest shrank back. She opened her banking app. Her thumb hovered over the investment account that held the $15,000. That number had always felt like a safety net. Today it looked more like a key. "Okay," she whispered. "We're using it." But not the way they wanted. She moved the $15,000 into her main checking. The app flashed, transfer complete. Her stomach flipped, but her hand stayed steady. Back on the Foundation's page, she clicked the bright Donate button. A form opened. Amount. Name. Message. In the amount box, she typed 15000. In the name box, she did not write Danielle Lawson. She typed, "In honor of the healing of Ruth Lawson, beloved mother." In the message box, she wrote, "Please pray for Ruth as she recovers from a heart attack. Use this gift to help children who need treatment. Thank you." Her eyes blurred. This time it wasn't from fear. It was from a deep mix of love and relief. She clicked confirm. The screen spun, then showed, "Thank you for your gift. A receipt has been sent to your email." Her inbox pinged. She opened the new mail. The receipt was simple and clear. Children's Hope Foundation, donation $15,000, given in honor of Ruth Lawson. Dani took a screenshot and stared at it. "I could keep this private," she thought. "Just me, God, Mom, and those kids. That would be enough." Then she remembered Regina's sharp voice. "Handle your mother yourself. Don't be spoiled." "Fine," Dani thought. "I will handle her. And I won't say a single ugly word." She opened her message app and tapped the Cole family group chat. The last messages were still about dresses, menus, and our family's reputation. Her own texts asking for prayer were buried between laughing emojis. Dani attached the screenshot of the donation receipt. No message, no explanation. She hit send. A gray check appeared, then turned into 2 blue checks. Then more little faces popped up under the picture, as aunties, cousins, and in-laws opened it. Dani flipped her phone over and slid it away. Whatever storm this starts, she thought, can stay in that phone. I am not their referee anymore. She leaned forward and brushed her mother's forehead. Mama, she whispered, your name just went out with a blessing, not with a bill. 10 little ones are going to get help because you cared. Every prayer they pray is going to carry your name. So you rest, okay? She sat back, listening to the soft beeps. Inside her chest, something let go. A weight she had carried for years slid off her shoulders and stayed on the floor. Across town, Regina's phone buzzed while she sat in a bridal shop in Buckhead. Sierra was in front of a tall mirror, spinning in a sparkly dress. 2 salesladies fussed with the train. Regina checked the family chat. She saw the picture from Dani and smiled to herself. Look, baby, she said. I told you. She finally sent the proof. She tapped the picture. Her smile died. The receipt was not from Red Rose Events. It was from Children's Hope Foundation. Her eyes jumped to the number. $15,000. Then to the line. In honor of the healing of Ruth Lawson, beloved mother. Regina's jaw clenched. What is it, Mom? Sierra asked. Did she send it? Regina turned the phone around. Sierra stepped closer, still in the dress, her face going pale as she read. She donated it? Sierra gasped. She gave it away? In Grandma Ruth's name? Before Regina could answer, the chat lit up. One aunt wrote, Wow, Dani. That's a mighty gift. God bless you and Mama Ruth. A cousin added, 15,000 to help sick kids instead of a party? Respect. Another sent, Regina, your daughter-in-law is special. Every message felt like a burn on Regina's skin. The story was clear. Dani had money. Dani cared. They had been chasing centerpieces. Sierra's phone rang. The screen showed Riley. Red Rose Events. She answered, trying to steady her voice. Hi, Riley. Hi, Sierra, Riley said, polite but firm. We still haven't received the $15,000 deposit. It's now after 12. Per contract, we've released your date to another client. Also, we got a call this morning from attorney Randall James. Miss Danielle Lawson will no longer be financially responsible for this event. So at this point, everything under your name is canceled. The wedding is canceled? Sierra whispered. I'm afraid so, Riley replied. Well, email a cancellation invoice. Have a good day. The line went dead. The bright shop felt colder, like someone had turned off music. Sierra stared at her phone, then at herself in the mirror, standing in a dress she could not pay for. In another part of the city, Malik sat at his desk and opened the same picture from the family chat. His coworkers leaned over. Yo, is that your wife? One asked. She donated 15 grand? That's big. Man, that's a good woman, another said. Malik's own text asking Dani to send that same amount for the hall, and his mother's vacation sat right above the donation image. It looked ugly now. A question slid into his mind. What kind of man did that make him look like? He set the phone face down and rubbed his forehead. Back in room 312, Dani had no idea how many phones were buzzing because of her one quiet choice. She only knew her mother's hand felt a little warmer and that, for the first time, her money had gone exactly where her heart said it should. She opened her small Bible and began to read Mama Ruth's favorite psalms out loud, line by line, her voice soft but steady. Outside the window, the sky over Atlanta stayed gray. Inside Dani, a new kind of light had turned on. And this time, she was not going to let anyone talk her into turning it off. Even if her whole world pushed back, she had finally chosen herself. The days after Dani's quiet donation slid by in a blur. She spent almost every hour in the hospital, reading to Mama Ruth, talking to doctors, and signing whatever papers attorney Randall James emailed her. The joint accounts were frozen. The automatic transfers were shut off. The house on Royal Oak Drive was already listed for sale. Dani stayed at a small hotel 2 blocks away and walked back and forth on the same short path. ICU, hallway, cafeteria, hotel, and back again. Her world had gotten very small, but inside that circle she felt strangely steady. Across town, Regina and Sierra woke up in a different world too, but they did not know it yet. That morning the sun was bright over Buckhead. In a glossy bridal boutique with gold hangers and soft white curtains, Sierra stood on a low platform in front of a huge mirror. The dress she wore shimmered like water. She twirled in front of her reflection, hair pinned up, makeup light but perfect. Regina sat on a cream sofa nearby, sipping sparkling water from a crystal glass. Her nails were perfect. Her voice floated through the room as she talked to the saleslady about flowers and colors and how her friends would gasp when they saw the photos. "Money is not a problem," Regina said with a little laugh. "My son's wife, Dani, takes care of everything. She is very devoted to our family." The saleslady smiled. She had heard that line before, from many different women. Sierra checked her reflection one more time and looked over her shoulder. "Mama, I want this one," she said. "Everybody at the wedding is going to pass out when they see me walk down the aisle." "They'll pass out when they see the bill too," Regina joked, and both of them laughed. At the front counter, the clerk rang up the deposit amount for the dress and alterations. "All right, Miss Cole," she said. "Today's total for the dress and rush fitting schedule is $5,000. Regina waved her hand like this was nothing. "That's fine," she said. She took out her platinum credit card and handed it over. The clerk slid the card through the machine. The little screen turned, blinked, and then showed a red line of text. "Declined." The clerk frowned, tried again, and then looked up. "I'm sorry, Mom," she said. "It's not going through." Regina's smile froze. "That's impossible," she said. Her voice got sharp. "Run it again. Your machine is acting up." The clerk ran it again. "Declined." "Maybe the limit," the clerk started. "This card has a very high limit," Regina cut in. "My bills are always paid. My daughter-in-law pays them. Try my debit card." She handed over another card. The clerk swiped it, watched the screen, and shifted. "Insufficient funds," she said softly. The air in the shop went tight. The saleslady stopped moving for a second. Even the music playing from a small speaker in the corner seemed too loud now. Sierra climbed down off the platform, the bottom of her dress swishing over the floor. "What do you mean insufficient funds?" she demanded. "We're paying the reception hall today too." Regina grabbed her phone with shaky hands and opened her banking app under the counter so the clerk would not see. The number on the screen made her throat close. It was almost zero. No 15,000. No 2,000 from Dani's monthly help. Nothing. She snapped her head up. "Call Malik," she told Sierra. "Right now." Sierra dialed her brother, but he was already calling Regina. They ended up on a three-way call without meaning to. "Mama, what's wrong?" Malik asked. He was in his office, but his voice already sounded tight. "My cards are bouncing," Regina hissed. "There is no money in my account. Did Dani send it to yours?" "Check." Malik opened his own app. For a second, he thought he had hit the wrong button. His balance was $34 and some cents. The extra $1,000 Dani usually sent him on the first of the month was not there. "I don't see anything," he said slowly. "And my account is dry too." "What?" Regina shouted. "She stopped it? After everything we did for her? After we brought her into this family?" In the background, the saleslady cleared her throat and spoke in a careful voice. "If we can't take a payment today, we'll have to release this dress to another bride," she said. "We have a waiting list." Sierra's eyes filled with tears. "You're going to let her take my dress?" she cried. "No, Mama, do something." Regina turned her back on the clerk. "Malik, call your wife," she ordered. "Tell her this is serious. The hall deposit, the dress, my trip. She can't just play with us like this." Malik was already pressing Dani's name. The call went straight to voicemail. He tried again. Same thing. He switched to text. "Dani, this is not funny," he wrote. "Mom's cards are getting declined. The hall deposit is due. You better fix this. You're acting childish." The message went through. It showed delivered but never changed to read. On the hospital floor, Dana's phone lay in the bottom of her bag with all notifications off. She was helping a nurse change the cool cloth on Mama Ruth's forehead, humming quietly as she worked. The nurse smiled to herself. She had watched many families come and go. Some fell apart when sickness came. Some grew stronger. She still wasn't sure yet what kind of family this was. Back at the boutique, Sierra's phone buzzed. Her screen lit up. Riley, Red Rose Events flashed across it. Her stomach dropped. "Hello?" she answered. Riley's voice was polite, but there was no smile in it. "Hi, Sierra, this is Riley from Red Rose Events," she said. "I wanted to confirm we still have not received the $15,000 deposit. Our deadline was 12 noon, and it's now 12:15. Sierra's mouth went dry. "We're just handling a small bank problem," she said quickly. "My sister-in-law is supposed to send it. Can you wait a little longer?" "I'm afraid not," Riley said. "Per our contract, we have to release your venue and vendors to the next client on the list if the deposit is not in on time. Also, I wanted to let you know we received a call from attorney Randall James this morning. He informed us that Miss Danielle Lawson is no longer responsible for any payments related to your event." Sierra's knees went weak. "So, what does that mean?" she whispered. "It means everything under your name is cancelled, effective immediately," Riley answered. "Well, email a cancellation notice." "I'm sorry, Sierra. I wish you the best." The call ended. Sierra stared at her phone. Her reflection in the screen looked like a stranger, a girl in a fancy dress with no plan, no haul, and no rich sister-in-law to back her up. Regina snatched the phone. "Well?" she demanded. "They canceled the wedding," Sierra said. The words broke apart. "The hall, the catering, everything. Dana's lawyer called them. She pulled all her money. We lost our date." The sales ladies pretended not to listen, but they could not help glancing at each other. For the first time in a long time, Regina had no words. Her cheeks burned. The elegant shop felt full of eyes. "Mom," the clerk at the counter said, her voice now cool. "We'll need the dress back now. We can't hold it without a deposit." Sierra broke. She ran back to the platform, her hands clutching the front of the gown. "I am not taking this off," she cried. "I am not!" A woman trying on bridesmaid dresses in the corner watched with wide eyes. Another customer whispered something to her friend. "Dani did this," Sierra sobbed. "She ruined my wedding." Regina walked slowly to her daughter. She took hold of Sierra's shoulders and shook her once, hard enough to stop the crying for a second. "Go change," she said in a low voice. "We are not going to give these people a show. Not here." Sierra blinked, then stumbled into the dressing room. The curtains swung behind her. A moment later, the sound of choking sobs came through the thin fabric. Regina turned back to the clerk. "Well, come back," she said through stiff lips. The clerk nodded politely, but her eyes said she did not believe that. Outside, in the bright parking lot, the heat hit them. Regina's phone dinged again and again. The family group chat was active. She opened it with a tight jaw, expecting more questions about plans. Instead, she saw the screenshot Dani had sent from the hospital earlier. Under it, aunties and cousins had filled the chat with messages. "Wow, Dani, that's beautiful," one wrote. "15,000 for sick children? God bless you and your mama. Ruth is in our prayers," another typed. "You honored her while she's still here to feel it." "I saw the foundation post on Facebook," a cousin added. "Everybody is sharing it. That's your daughter-in-law, right, Regina? You must be so proud." Regina's eyes jumped back up to the screenshot. The words glowed. "Donation amount, $15,000. In honor of the healing of Ruth Lawson." A hot shame rose up her neck. That money could have gone to the hall, the band, her beach trip. Dani had given it away in front of everybody. They all thought Regina agreed with it. "What foundation post?" Sierra asked, wiping her face as she climbed into the car. Regina opened her Facebook app. The first thing on her feed was a bright picture shared by several church friends. Children with bald heads and shining smiles looked out from the screen. Above them were big letters. "A new hope has arrived." The caption read, in part, "Today we received a gift of $15,000 in honor of Miss Ruth Lawson, who is recovering from a heart attack here in Atlanta. This gift will cover treatments and living support for 10 of our brave little fighters. We invite everyone to pray for Miss Ruth's healing." Hundreds of people had liked the post. Many had commented, "Amen," "Wow," and "Bless this family." Regina's hand shook as she scrolled. Her throat felt thick. Pride and anger and something like guilt twisted together in her chest. In his downtown office, Malik saw the same foundation post on his feed. A coworker slapped his shoulder as he passed. "Man, you married up," the coworker joked. "Your wife is a hero." "I just read that story about the 15,000. Malik managed a weak smile. "Yeah," he said. "She's something." Inside, a knot tightened. A whole city now saw Dani as a generous daughter and strong woman. And he was the husband who had texted her to send that same money for a party and a beach towel. His phone buzzed again. This time it was Regina in their family group, sending angry messages in all caps. "We need to talk. Dani has lost her mind. She made us look like fools." Malik typed back with shaking fingers. "I'm going to the hospital." "I'll fix it." He stood up, grabbed his jacket, and headed toward the elevator. On the hospital floor, Dani sat by Mama Ruth's bed, holding her mother's hand and telling her about the children the donation would help. 10 kids, Mama," she said softly. 10 families are not going to hear we can't treat your baby because of you." Her phone, zipped deep in her bag, stayed silent. She had not turned it off, but every sound was disabled. Outside that room, weddings and reputations were cracking and falling. Inside the room, a heart was still beating because of machines, faith, and a daughter's stubborn love. Friend, if you've been listening this far, take a breath with Dani for a second. What would you have done with that 15,000? Would you have picked the party? Or the prayers? Tell me in the comments when this video ends. And if this twist in Dana's story surprised you even a little, tap that like button so this story can reach more people who might need a little courage tonight. Dani kissed her mother's forehead and leaned back in the worn chair. The war outside could wait. Right now, all that mattered was the woman in front of her and the quiet promise in Dana's own chest. The next time somebody tried to use her fear against her, they were going to be very, very surprised. Malik drove to the hospital like his car could still fix everything. He squeezed the steering wheel and rehearsed excuses in his head, but by the time he reached the parking deck, even he knew they sounded weak. He parked, straightened his tie, and walked to the entrance. Regina and Sierra were already there by the doors. Regina wore a bright blazer and tight jaw. Sierra had on jeans and a blouse from the bridal shop. "You took long enough," Regina said. "Come on." She can't hide when we're standing in front of her. Malik tried to sound calm. "We're here to see her mother too," he said. "At least show some respect." Regina snorted. "Respect is a two-way street. She'll learn that today." They stepped through the sliding doors into the cool lobby. The air smelled like sanitizer and coffee. People sat in rows of chairs, talking in low voices. Regina walked straight to the front desk. "We're here for Ruth Lawson," she said. "My daughter-in-law's mother. She's in ICU. We need passes." The clerk, a woman with a badge that said Sharon, typed for a moment. "Yes, ma'am. I see Ruth Lawson," she said. "But there's also a note on her file." Before Regina could ask, 2 security guards walked over. One was tall and broad, the other shorter with a serious face. "Afternoon," the tall guard said. "Is there a problem?" "There will be if people keep standing between us and our family," Regina said. "We're going upstairs." "Mom, I just need names," the guard said. "I'm Regina Cole. This is my son, Malik, and my daughter Sierra." The guard glanced at Sharon. She gave a small nod. "I'm sorry," he said, turning back to them. "Miss Danielle Lawson left written instructions. Mr. Malik Cole, Miss Regina Cole, and Miss Sierra Cole are not allowed to visit the patient or approach Miss Lawson anywhere in this hospital." The words were clear and heavy. Regina blinked. "You must be mistaken," she said. "That's my son's wife. I am family." "The note is signed and timed," the guard replied. "The only person who can change it is Miss Lawson or the doctor in charge. It says you 3 cause stress for the patient and guardian. We have to keep things calm." Sierra stared at the floor. Malik felt the heat rise in his face. "I am her husband," he said, stepping forward. "I have the right to see my wife." "We're not strangers." The shorter guard shook his head. "Sir, your name is on the list under no access and no contact. If you try to go past us, we'll have to escort you out." Sharon looked back at her screen. A few people nearby turned their heads, curious. Regina leaned over the desk. "Call her," she demanded. "Call Dani down here. She'll tell you to move." "I already tried her room phone," Sharon said. "No answer. I can send a message to ICU, but they're busy. It may take a while." Regina slapped the counter. "We drove all the way here. We are not going to stand in the lobby like beggars." "Mom," the tall guard said, his voice firmer now, "please lower your voice. There are families here going through a lot. If you keep causing a scene, we'll have to ask you to leave the building." For a second, Regina just stared at him. She wasn't used to people telling her no. Sierra tugged her sleeve. "Mama," she whispered, "everyone's looking. Let's go, we can talk to Dani at the house." Regina glanced around and saw the eyes on them. Her face tightened. "Fine," she said. "She wants to play games? Let her, she still has to come home." She turned and walked out. Sierra followed. Malik gave the guards one last hard look and then went after them. Outside, the heat rushed over them. "She blocked us at the hospital," Regina said. "She thinks a piece of paper makes her strong. Well, see how strong she is when she stands on our front porch. She cannot sell that house without us knowing. Well, wait for her there." "Yeah," Malik said. "Well, handle this at home." They climbed into his silver SUV. The drive back to Royal Oak Drive was quiet. Atlanta moved around them, but inside the car, no one spoke. Sierra finally broke the silence. "What if she already did something with that lawyer?" she asked. "Don't talk nonsense," Regina said, though her voice shook. "Dani would never cross us like that. She owes us everything." No one answered. When they turned onto Royal Oak Drive, Malik's chest loosened a little. The big houses and clean lawns always made him feel safe. This street had been proof that his life looked successful. Then he saw the dark sedan at their curb. Two men in suits stood by their gate. One was taping a large white paper to the iron bars. Malik hit the brakes. "What now?" Regina muttered. They rushed down the sidewalk. "Can I help you?" Malik called. "This is my house." The man with the tape turned. He held a folder. "Are you Mr. Malik Cole?" he asked. "Yes, my name is Anthony. I'm from the law office of Randall James," the man said. "We're here to serve a formal notice regarding this property." He handed Malik a thick brown envelope. Malik tore it open. The first page was covered in legal words, but a few lines jumped out. "Property at 12 Royal Oak Drive is the separate property of Danielle Lawson, acquired before marriage and titled in her name only. Occupants connected to Mr. Malik Cole have been allowed to reside as guests. Owner has initiated sale of the property. Guests are required to vacate within 14 days. Malik's eyes stuck to the word vacate. Regina snatched the paper. 14 days? She shouted. "She cannot do this. My son lives here. I live here. Our things are here. The deed is only in Miss Lawson's name," Anthony said. "We're not here to argue, ma'am. We just deliver notices. There's also a warning about refusing to leave or damaging the house." Sierra looked at the gate. On the white paper in black letters it said, "Property for sale. Represented by Attorney Randall James. Unauthorized occupants subject to removal." Across the street, a neighbor stood on her porch, pretending to sweep. Another paused with a dog on a leash. Eyes were on them. "First my wedding, now this," Sierra whispered. "Where are we supposed to go?" Regina opened her mouth, then closed it. The answer did not come. A deep engine sound rolled up the street. A yellow tow truck turned the corner and stopped behind Malik's SUV. Two men on motorcycles pulled up behind it. One man climbed down from the truck with a clipboard. "Afternoon," he said. "This the Cole residence?" Malik frowned. "Yeah. Why?" "We got an order from the leasing company to repossess a silver SUV. Tag number he read off the plate that matched Malik's. Owner is listed as Danielle Lawson. Payments stopped. We're here to pick it up." Regina's voice shot up. "You are not taking that car," she said. "That's my son's car. He drives it. He works with it. My daughter-in-law always pays on time." "Not anymore, ma'am," the man said. She told the company to stop and signed off. "When the signer says stop, we stop and collect." "That car is mine," Malik said. "I don't care what the paper says." The repo man kept his tone flat. "Sir, I don't make the rules. You can hand over the keys, or I can call the police. Either way, the truck is not leaving without that SUV." The two riders stepped closer. The sidewalk suddenly felt smaller. Malik looked at the SUV. He saw himself leaning against it while his friends admired it. He heard his own voice bragging, "We bought this." Now the word "we" sounded fake. Regina grabbed his arm. "Don't you dare give them those keys," she hissed. "Stand up for yourself. This is your house. Your car. Your wife cannot treat you like dirt." For a tiny second he wanted to believe her. Then he glanced at the notice in her hand. Separate property. Guests. Vacate. He had not paid for the house. He had not paid for the car. He had not stood by his wife when her mother almost died. All those facts sat on his shoulders at once. His hand closed around the keys in his pocket. His throat felt tight. He could shout, fight, and maybe end the day in handcuffs. Or he could face what was already true. Dani had taken back what was hers, and there was nothing he could do. His fingers uncurled. Malik pulled out the keys and dropped them into the repo man's hand. "Take it," he said. His voice cracked. "Take the whole thing." "Thank you for your cooperation," the man said. He turned away. They backed the SUV toward the truck, hooked it, and pulled it up the ramp. The chain rattled. The metal groaned. To Malik it sounded like his last piece of pride scraping away. The tow truck rolled off with the SUV. The black sedan from the law office pulled away too. The motorcycles followed. Silence fell over Royal Oak Drive. Malik, Regina, and Sierra stood on the sidewalk in front of the gate. The for sale notice flapped in the light wind. There was no car in the driveway now, no lawyer to argue with, no banker to call. Just the three of them, the hot sun, and neighbors pretending not to stare. Regina hugged the papers to her chest. Sierra's arms hung at her sides. Malik kept his eyes on the ground. Malik thought about the text he had sent from the hospital cafeteria, asking for $15,000 while Dani sat alone by her mother's bed. Back then he had rolled his eyes at her silence. Now the silence lived in his own phone, his own pockets, his own future. For the first time, he wondered what kind of man he had been all along, and why she stopped. For the first time, they all understood the same thing. Dani was no longer afraid of losing them. She had decided she was done being used. Now, whether they liked it or not, they were the ones standing outside with nowhere else to go. Malik, Regina, and Sierra did not stand on that sidewalk for long. The heat and the neighbors' eyes burned. Regina spun away from the gate and marched down the street. Malik and Sierra followed because they had nowhere else to go. "We are not staying out here like lost people," Regina said when they reached the corner. "Call your uncle. Call somebody. We are not sleeping in the street." Malik's hand still shook from watching the tow truck take the SUV. He scrolled to Uncle James and called. "Hey, Malik," his uncle answered, bright. "That wife of yours is something else. I saw the donation, 15 grand. Your mama-in-law raised a strong woman." "Yeah," Malik said quietly. "Unc, we have a situation. We need a ride and maybe a couch for a few days." "A ride? From Royal Oak? What happened to the big house?" "It's complicated. Dana's mad." The lawyer stepped in. Uncle James went quiet. "Malik, I'm out of town," he said, "and folks are talking. They say Dani sat alone in ICU while y'all worried about parties. I can't get in that mess. Talk to your wife." Aunt Paulette said the same, only sharper. She loved him, but she was not bringing that storm into her house, and people saw Dani as a saint now. When that call ended, Sierra snatched the phone. "Call Jalen," she said. "He loves me. His family has money." Her fiancé picked up on the third ring. "Baby, please come get us," Sierra cried. "Dani is kicking us out. The hall canceled. The dress shop embarrassed us. We're on the corner like we're homeless." "My mother already showed me the cancellation bill," he said. $5,000. "Our name is on it because we co-signed." "That's Dana's fault," Sierra said fast. "She promised to pay. She promised to help, not be your family bank forever," Jalen answered. "You don't work. Your mama doesn't work. Malik always broke, but everybody acts rich. Dani gives $15,000 to kids with cancer while her own mama is in ICU, and you're yelling about a party. That's not fair," Sierra choked. "We're the victims. Or maybe y'all tried to use the wrong woman one time too many," he said. "We're not paying that penalty, and I can't marry into a family that uses people like that. I'm sorry, we're done." The line went dead. Sierra dropped to the curb. "He ended it," she whispered. "He called us users." Regina's face went pale, then hard. "Fine. If nobody helps us, we help ourselves." "Malik, call that old landlord you had before Dani." "Well, stay there. It never had air," Malik muttered. "The pipes leaked." "Then put a bucket under the leak," Regina snapped. "Call him." The landlord agreed fast. Cash spoke louder than pride. Malik used the last bills in his wallet and Dana's $50 to call a rideshare. The car carried them away from clean lawns to a narrow street behind a tired strip mall. The rental house was small and worn, with a damp smell, a dripping sink, one thin mattress, and a sagging couch. Sierra stared at the stained carpet. "I can't live here." "You can and you will," Regina said. "Until we get back what is ours." They argued over who would get the mattress. Malik sat on the couch edge and thought of the soft guest room at Royal Oak. Back then he had laughed when Dani said, "If you ever need space, you can nap in there." Now he had no house at all. The next morning he tried to fix at least one thing: his job. He ironed his best shirt and caught the bus downtown. In the office lobby he swiped his badge at the turnstile. A red light flashed. "Access denied." The guard waved him over, checked the computer, and sighed. "You need to see HR, man." HR slid a folder across the table. "The company is ending your employment," the woman said. "The board has a close relationship with Miss Lawson's family. Her attorney contacted us. Your name came up." He walked out without his badge or his paycheck. Back at the rental, Regina had her jewelry box on the table. "This is our way out," she said. Bracelets and a heavy diamond necklace glittered. "We pawn some of this, get cash, then work from there." She marched to a pawn shop and poured everything on the counter. "I need to pawn these," she said. "Good quality." The owner checked the necklace with a little glass, scratched it on a stone, dropped liquid on it, and shook his head. "Mom, this isn't diamond," he said. "It's glass. Zircon." "That's impossible," Regina said. "My son bought it with his bonus." The tray said real. He scraped a bracelet. "Plating is gold. Inside is brass, all costume. If I take the whole box, maybe $40. Regina stared at the pieces that had made her feel rich in every church photo. They now looked cheap and sad. She walked back to the rental with an empty box and 220s. The house felt even smaller than before. While her world shrank, Dana's world was only one hospital room and the soft beeping of machines. Day and night, she sat by Mama Ruth's bed, washed her hands with warm towels, read psalms in a low voice, and told her small stories from their old street. News alerts buzzed about the Foundation's post and strangers thanking the daughter who honored her sick mother. One evening, about a week after the heart attack, Mama Ruth's fingers squeezed Dana's hand. Her eyelids fluttered. "Mama?" Dani whispered. The older woman's eyes opened a little. A tear slid down. Dani hit the call button. Nurses rushed in, checked the monitors, and smiled. "She's waking up," one said. "Your mama's a fighter." Later that day, they removed the tube. Mama Ruth's voice was rough but clear. "Baby," she rasped. "You been here the whole time?" "Every minute I could," Dani said. She told her about the Children's Hope donation, but not about Malik's texts. 10 kids are getting chemo because of you," she said. "They're all praying for Miss Ruth in ICU." Mama Ruth studied her daughter's face. "You did right," she whispered. "Don't let nobody make you feel crazy for doing right." A few days later, attorney Randall James came to the hospital. He met Dani in a small family lounge with a slim folder in his hand. "The house already has an offer over asking," he said. "Your accounts are secure. The automatic payments are all stopped. There's one more choice." He opened the folder and slid some papers toward her. "Divorce petition," he said. "Grounds include emotional abandonment, financial misuse, and failure to support you during your mother's crisis. If you sign, we file." Dani looked at her name on the page, then his. She remembered him laughing about flowers while she sat outside ICU. She remembered the message telling her to send $15,000 for the hall and Mama's vacation while her mother fought for her life. She waited for anger. None came. What came was a quiet, firm feeling, like a door closing. She picked up the pen. Her hand did not shake as she signed. "It's time," she said. "I can't share a life with someone who disappears when it matters most." Randall nodded. "I'll file today," he said. "You focus on your mother." Across town, in the little rental that smelled like damp walls and frying oil, Malik sat on the mattress and stared at his silent phone. Regina muttered about finding a new church that would finally hear her side. Sierra scrolled through social media and stopped on a picture from Children's Hope, a child with a shaved head holding a sign that said, "Thank you, Miss Ruth." None of them knew another thick envelope, this time from the court, was already on its way to their peeling front door. Dani did not think about them. She went back into her mother's room, pulled her chair close, and took Ruth's warm, thin hand. "Rest, Mama," she said softly. When we leave this hospital, it's going to be just us." Her shoulders were still heavy. But under the grief and the fear, something new had started to grow. She did not know the future, but she felt ready. 6 months later, Atlanta felt new to Dani. The air at Hartsfield-Jackson was warm. People rolled suitcases past big windows that showed planes on the runway. Dani walked through the arrival hall, pushing a wheelchair with one hand and a luggage cart with the other. Mama Ruth sat in the chair because the airline insisted, not because she needed it. Her cheeks were full again, her scarf was tied neat and bright. In her lap she held a small bag of souvenirs and an envelope covered in stamps. "Baby, I still can't believe it," she said, laughing. "Vienna, Lisbon, that little town by the sea. Your daddy never even made it past Florida." Dani smiled. "We took you a little farther than Florida, Mama," she said. "You liked the music in the square, didn't you?" Her mother nodded. "And the church by the river," she added. "I prayed in every one of those places. For the children at that foundation. For you. For the girl I used to be, who thought she had to take whatever life handed her." They moved toward the exit, passing a TV that played the morning news with the sound off. For a second, Dana's own face filled the screen. It was a clip from 2 weeks earlier, when she had stood on a small stage downtown, holding a glass award from Children's Hope. Dani noticed it, but she didn't slow down. Her life was full now. She did not need strangers to clap. Mama Ruth's soft "I'm proud of you" girl was enough. Outside, a black car waited at the curb. It was not flashy, just clean and safe. The driver stepped out and folded the wheelchair. "Welcome back, Miss Lawson," he said. "Good trip?" "Beautiful," Dani answered, "but it feels good to come home." As they pulled away from the airport, the highway sign for the old Royal Oak exit flashed past. Dani looked at it for one heartbeat and then turned her head. That place belonged to another family now. Somewhere across town, Regina bent over a sewing machine. Sierra tried to sell cheap dresses online. Malik pushed carts in a hot warehouse. Dani did not follow their pages. She had blocked their numbers and their noise. When an aunt asked about them, she only said, "I wish them well," and then changed the subject. They could do what they wanted with their second chance. She was busy with her own. Her new house sat on a quiet street lined with oak trees. It was smaller than Royal Oak, but the light was softer. No one used her kitchen without asking. No one opened her wallet but her. When she and Mama Ruth came through the door, the whole place smelled like the vanilla candle Dani had lit before they left. Mama Ruth said, breathing in. "Smells like peace." Dani laughed. "That's the new scent," she said. "Peace and paid bills." Over the next few days they unpacked at a slow, easy pace. Travel photos joined old family pictures on the shelves. On the coffee table lay a brochure from Children's Hope. They had invited Dani and Mama Ruth to visit the center again. "Can we bring snacks when we go?" Mama Ruth asked one morning. "I promised little Tiana Eid teach her my peach cobbler. You can bring 2 pans," Dani said. "We're also starting a small scholarship. When some of them are strong enough to go back to school, well, help with books." Later that week, Dani sat alone at her desk as the sun went down. She worked from home now, running her father's company with a clear head. The sale of the old house had cleared every debt and rebuilt their savings. But the thing that made her feel richest was not the number in the bank. It was the quiet place inside her chest where fear used to live. She opened her laptop and checked one last email from Attorney James. The subject line said, "Final decree." The court had signed off on the divorce. Everything was complete. Malik had not fought. Maybe he knew there was nothing left to win. Dani read the lines once. Then she closed the computer. She walked to the window and looked out at the calm street. A child rode a bike in slow circles. A neighbor carried in groceries. "Lord," she said softly, "thank you for not letting me stay blind." No voice answered, but the peace in the room felt like one long, gentle yes. That night, after making mint tea for herself and chamomile for Mama Ruth, Dani sat on the couch and picked up her phone. On the screen was something new, a little story channel where she had started to share parts of her journey and other people's journeys too. A tiny red dot in the corner showed that another video had just finished for someone. "Friend, if you're hearing my voice right now, Dana's story is more than drama," the narrator said gently. "It's a quiet reminder. Your kindness is a gift, not a leash for other people to drag you around. Your money is not their escape door from bad choices. You are allowed to protect your heart, your home, and your hope. The video timer slid toward the end, and the narrator's tone turned warm and playful. And now, sister, before this story ends, let me tell you this from my heart. Thank you for staying with me until the last second. If this story helped you or made you feel seen, please tap subscribe so you don't miss the next life story. If there was a part that bothered you or made you think, write it in the comments and share your thoughts with me. And even if you still aren't sure how you feel, you can hit the like button to let me know you were here and to help these stories reach another sister who might need them tonight. Thank you again for listening all the way through. On your screen, you'll see 2 more true life stories waiting for you. Pick one, relax, and spend a little more time with me. Until we meet in the next video, I'm sending you love, respect, and a soft hug through the screen.